This episode has been brought to you by the Raw Spirit Team. Building a business can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. We teach small and medium-sized businesses strategies for building a profitable, successful, stress-free business and life. Because guess what? You are more than your business. Through one-on-one training, online courses, and monthly guest experts, the Spirit Team is built on the principle of building each other up in business and in spirit. Try it for 14 days for free. Just head to rawconsulting.com and check out the Raw Spirit Team. Hey, it's Lauren from the Raw podcast. So coming up on the episode today, I spoke with Nonie Leonard all about vision boards. I really enjoyed this conversation primarily because Nonie really got into the foundational, sort of practices and things that you need to think about to really create vision boards that are going to be successful. I guess going into this conversation, I thought that we were going to be focusing primarily on creating vision boards and, what is it that you want and put it on the vision board. But I really loved how Nonie really wanted to harness in on the concept of understanding your why. And she had success stories to share. She had different perspectives on how you can build your vision board. And I really just loved her perspective on the subject. So I hope you will too. Enjoy. My guest today is Nonie Leonard, and she is a vision board life coach and the founder of the Highly Favoured Woman Community, a community for women ready to elevate their lives. She's a mom of two, a wife to one, and a business owner. So she understands the juggle involved in achieving your goals. Over the last 10 years, she's used vision boards to achieve her goals, which include buying her first home before the age of 30, tick. Running a successful wedding planning business, tick, and having all her kids before the age of 35. She helps women desire to achieve all their dreams and start living their reality using strategies of why, what, and how. So I've asked Nonie to join me today to talk to me about her journey, to talk to me about the importance of vision boards, and can anyone make a vision board come true? Nonie, thank you so much for being on this show today.
No, thank you for having me, Lauren. It's my first podcast, so I'm quite excited about that.
Love it. So what is that on your vision board to do a podcast?
That is on my vision board, yeah.
Damn, check. There you go. I'm super pumped to talk about vision boards today because I use them myself, and I'm really interested in, discussing with you about, who they're for, how you can get started, why you think they work. But before that, why don't we talk a little bit about your journey and how you first, started working with women, and, maybe a little bit about your business history.
Okay, so I started working with women, I would say, about a few years ago. I'm a believer, and which means I go to church, and at church I do serve. And I've always been interested in women's ministry and just understanding how women work and just elevating women. I am a woman myself and a sister to 3 sisters. So we're all girls, and I'm the eldest as well. So I've always been fascinated with how we can move from one place to another and elevate ourselves and just go beyond the boundaries that we're set by society, and just being able to put ourselves in a different stance to what others may believe about you. And that is why I really started working and being involved in anything that involved elevating women. My husband always jokes and says I'm all about women empowerment, and I'm like, it used to frustrate me at first, and then I realized I really should wear that with a crown, because yes, I am for women empowerment, but it's not in a derogatory way or in a way that is undermining to anyone. It's just in a way where I want women to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and understand that I myself, as a woman, my cup is full. And if I am to meet someone else, then they are there to just help me overflow. They're not there to
Mm-hmm.
complete me, because I found that as a young woman myself in my 20s, I was searching for someone to complete me.
Mm-hmm.
That meant I was always knocking on the wrong doors until
Mm-hmm.
I took the time to find myself and fill my own cup. And then when I met my husband, I was ready to, to overflow. He found
Yeah.
me already okay. Therefore, I
Yeah.
was open to anything that would come my way, and it would just overflow and help other people and help himself as well, and not expect him to bring me joy and happiness. And that's what
Yeah.
really fascinated me into working with women, especially younger women from the ages, I don't, from like university age. They're more, we're more, how can I say this, we're more vulnerable in terms of understanding who we are and who we let into our circles and what we search for when we meet people.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And I think too, that's one of the things that age can bring is that wisdom and that confidence in self. And I agree with you. It seems as though, from as long as I can remember, we're always taught that all these external things, can fill your cups, to use your language. And it's interesting because we'll talk about the vision boards later about how whether or not they need to be focused on things or whether or not you can include experiences and stuff like that as well. But I do agree with you about feeling whole in yourself. And then that's when you can attract a whole partner as well. And I think that when you understand the difference and you've been able to do that, it changes your whole life. And, yeah. So thanks for sharing that story. I love that. And I think that, women in general, we do tend to give a lot and not be able to receive as much. And
Yeah.
so I believe that, we're going to get into that probably when we talk about the vision board, because the vision board concept is a lot about being able to receive. Yeah. So before we get into that, you talk about how you help women achieve their or figure out their why, what, and how. So, what do you think the biggest hurdle is with women finding their why?
I would say mindset. Mindset plays a lot into finding our why, because our mindset is affected by a lot of external factors. When we're growing up, we are told, don't do this, do that, you're supposed to act that way, you're not meant to act this way. And that really plays a lot. As we get older, we start, all those things that we were told when we're growing up, they go up with us, and we then make our decisions based on those things that we were told from a young age. And therefore, it's all about transforming your mindset from, not, I would not say a stagnant mindset, but a mindset of living in terms of what other people put, what their thoughts and beliefs were into your mind and into your heart, and learning how to understand who you are and what you desire and why you desire those things. Because your why is quite important to who you are. Your why helps you make the decisions that you make. Your why is very important when making a vision board or making anything, because if you don't know your why, then you will just want what everyone else has because everyone else has that. But if
Yeah.
it might not be what you want.
Your why is personal to you. That's what I'm hearing you saying.
Yeah, it is very personal to you.
It's almost as though somebody needs to get really clear on who they are and what they want. And I like how you're talking about changing your mindset, not having a fixed mindset, not having your ideas so fixed that they can't really adjust.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's guilt in that sometimes with wanting things for yourself or wanting a different change in circumstance?
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely some guilt in that, because when you would then decide to change something that you've been doing for a very long time, everyone that knows you as that particular person. So
Yeah.
now when you are starting to change who you are and your mindset and the way you make decisions, it is going to ruffle up a few feathers, and they are going to question you, why are you doing this? Why are you not doing that? So you will then feel guilty sometimes of actually making a change in your mindset or making a different decision than what you would normally do, because you then start thinking of, hey, what would A, B, and C think of me if I change my mind and don't go with what they want? So it all plays a lot into really getting to know yourself in order for you to be comfortable with the decisions that you make and the responses that you might attract from people who have been surrounded by you all these years.
Yeah. Have you been able to do that for yourself? Block out, your fears on how other people are going to perceive what you're doing? Because especially when you're a different thinker, sometimes people look, they just think, man, that woman's crazy. I know people think that about me. But it's like, yeah, but look at everything I'm doing. So,
yeah.
The proof is in the pudding.
It really is. From where I was to where I am right now, it was a lot of growth that I had to work on myself. And it took a lot of cutting a few things and a few people out of my life, because I knew that if I had not done that, then I wouldn't be able to make the decisions that have led me to where I am right now. So I have had to make the hard decisions of blocking people out and sometimes breaking ties with those relationships, because I had to look at my why and say, I want to go somewhere with my life. I want to achieve A, B, and C because I really want to do this. I feel this is my purpose. That's what I'm called for. But I know that if I stay in this circle, or if I stay in this mindset, that will stop me from getting to that point, because I will always be doubting myself. I'll always second guess myself based on what other people have known me as. So I had to sever those ties and say, I'm taking the hard road of less friends in order for me to get to my destination, because along the way, you will meet people that are aligned to you and they will become your friends.
Ooh, goosebumps, girl. It's so true, though. It's so true. And, it's that whole thing that, when you make room or space for something in your life, then it can come in. But if you're so bogged down with the wrong things, whatever they are, then that means that all the things that are meant for you and meant to serve you can't find their way in.
Yeah.
And, when you were talking, one of the things that came to mind, something that I like to teach on, is on the subject of you can't share your dream with everyone. And, I believe that when you feel in your soul and in your heart that something is meant for you, you don't want to share that with people that aren't going to support that. And, especially when we're dealing with mindset work, that already can be challenging, because really we don't need anyone else to, add challenges in our brain. Our brain will do that on its own.
True.
So if there's other additional outside influences, it's going to be tough, but it's so important to let them go. And I think that, going back to, as we evolve as women, and as we get older and wiser, because I believe that, that's the perk of age, is that you do learn things, is that, you tend to be more clear on, what you want and what serves you. And that's okay. In not needing to answer to everyone anymore. Yeah. And like you said, it's quality over quantity, right?
It is definitely quality over quantity. And I was having a conversation with a few girlfriends of mine yesterday about how many friends does a person require, really. And for me, my stance was, if at the end of the day, after we've met and had lunch and had coffee, what have I learned from you? What am I taking home that I can say, okay, she told me this is what she's doing and it's working for her. And at the same time, what am I giving to you that you will go home and think about? If we are at the end of the day saying goodbye and all we've talked about is the latest cars or what's going on on TV, then really it's great, because sometimes you don't need to always have sensible conversations. But if
Yeah.
that's what's taking place majority every time we meet, then clearly there's something that we might need to question there and say, what are we actually learning from, what, are we actually helping each other in the areas that we need help, or are we just being casual?
Yeah, I think that, it comes down to, for myself anyway, how do I feel? I like that you're talking about after I've left this person. So how do I feel after I've talked to somebody? Do I feel lighter, and do I feel inspired, and do I
Mm.
feel excited, and, or do I feel down? Do I feel negative? And, I think that I've been lucky enough to cultivate relationships from a very young age that are still friends of mine now. And I think one of the reasons why they work is because even though we've all, chosen a lot of different careers, we still understand and we still think about the world in similar ways. And we can still have discussions about things like mindset, about things like, spirituality or faith or whatever, about business, about, the best face cream and,
Yeah.
the latest fashion trend. But then it's so well rounded. And so
Yeah.
I have had relationships before, friendships before, where, it wasn't working. And if people didn't lift me up, then probably similar to you, then those friendships fell away. And yeah, and I think it's almost a shared thing, isn't it? It's you're giving and I'm giving, and we're both receiving as well. And so it
Yeah.
feels like it's a balanced thing.
No, that's true. That's true, because it is a give and take situation in terms of how mindset works, and as well as obviously with your vision board as well, taking it back there in terms of, I have, you might have this grand big vision, and yes, you probably can achieve it on your own, but you also need your like-minded friends to help you when you're feeling down, when you're feeling a bit doubtful, but they will be the ones who will be inspiring you and saying, no, you said you wanted to achieve this. So let's go ahead. What can we do to help you achieve this? We can be your support system. And
Mm-hmm.
that plays a lot on your mindset as well, because if you are in and still playing with your mindset, with your own mind, which is obviously going to question you every 2 minutes,
Yeah.
you do need someone or some people that will be there to give you that positive vibes that you're looking for. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it is true.
So what's a vision board exactly, Noni?
A vision board is, for me personally, it's more than just images and words of affirmation, as you see. For me, it's really your why is your vision board. Your why in terms of who you are, who you want to be, and who you want to be known as
Hmm.
when it's all said and done. Because you can build a vision board from a year from today, and that is how you want your life to be perceived by 12 months later. That is who you probably want to be known as 12 months later. So it's really is engrowned into who you are and your why. That for me is your vision board.
Do you believe that, you are in the present moment a culmination of the things that you've done in the past to put you here? And what I mean by that is, when you're talking about a vision board, I get the impression that you're talking about setting intentions for where you want to be, and, like growing into that person and attracting things, that person, wants, for example. So, I understand from vision boards that it's about setting an intention. So would you agree that you're basically, if you set an intention or not, you're still, achieving things, or manifesting? Do you use the word manifesting in the kind of work you do?
I do, yeah.
Right. So, I'm trying to think about whether or not I'm explaining this properly, but I guess that whether or not you decide to take control of it or not, your life is happening to you. So, you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, no, I do. I would say yes and no, because you can create a vision board and you can be a great manifester, but if you don't put in the work that is required, then it's really just it's just a board with pictures and words that you are manifesting. But I believe there's a lot of work that goes into your vision board in terms of a lot of internal work within yourself
Yeah.
and a lot of external work that is required for you to achieve your goals. Because you might say, I want to buy, a brand new car. And yes, you can manifest it, you can affirm it. And with affirmations and manifestations, you will start seeing that car that you want everywhere where you go.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's your car. Then you now need to look at, okay, where am I in my current life, my current situation right now? What can I do to actually make that goal on my vision board a reality? So
Yeah.
for me, it's not just the vision board and manifesting it. It's also about the work that you need to put into it to actually then bring it into reality.
Right.
For example, with the car example, there's a lot of things that you need to take steps you need to take in order for you to then acquire that car. You need to, if you're buying it cash, well, you need to have the cash for it. So it means you need to have the right job for it in order for you to acquire it. If you're getting it on credit, you need to have the right credit. You need to have all those right things in the background in order for it to become a reality for you. So that is how I see a vision board.
So I see, from what you're saying, that it's about making the decisions in your present moment that are going to take you towards your goals.
Yes.
I think sometimes people get stuck because they don't actually know what they want. And so it's almost as though if they just think about what you were talking about earlier, understanding your why will help you understand your motivation, will help you get in touch with and align with the things that, will serve you, right?
Yes, definitely, because we live in a world where everything is very easy for you to have, and everyone seems to have the same things. Gone are the days where you would have state of the art and you would know that, okay, this person really worked hard for what they have. Everyone can now go out and get a new car or buy a new house or, acquire anything that anyone has on social media. But if you live on that basis of, okay, Caroline bought a new car, so why can't I buy a new car? We have the same job, we have the same salary. I also want a new car. That's the wrong intention, because you don't really want the car because of your why. You want it because of a social status and because someone has it and you believe that you are on the same level, so you should have it as well. And oftentimes you find that if you approach your vision board on those terms, the road is very difficult for you to actually achieve those things because your intention is not in the right place. But if you know your why in terms of, I want that new car because I've worked so hard to actually be able to afford it, because I also want that car so that I'm able to take my kids to school from A, B, and B. I'm able to go on long drives with this car. It changes your why. It's not because she's got it, but it's because it's going to benefit you and serve you and those around you as well, which makes it more important for you to acquire, and you actually enjoy the journey to acquiring it. And once you've acquired it, you won't take it for granted because it's so aligned to who you are and what you will feel after you've achieved it.
That made me think about how you're talking about basically not asking for things from an ego standpoint, from a standpoint that's a superficial standpoint. You kind of brought that home when you were talking about being able to serve other people. And I believe that, I've been successful in a lot of the things that I've been able to manifest because it's been able to enrich my life, in which I've been able to enrich the lives of others.
Yeah.
So, and, it kind of goes back to before how if you're a whole person, if you've filled your cup with understanding your why and your value and your ability to do things, for yourself on your own in a way, well, maybe co-creating, but anyway, if you've been able to understand, your value, it's almost as though you don't need these other things on a superficial level anyway.
No.
And so you're not making those decisions like, oh, Nancy's got the new, vehicle, or,
Yeah.
I need it too.
Yeah, no, it really is, because if we are of that mindset, then we will never really acquire any, we won't know who we are, and we will never acquire anything because of what we want and our why. Because Nancy today will have a new car, next week she'll have, the new iPhone, and the
Yeah.
following month she'll have a Mac. And therefore you're
Yeah.
living in competition with someone who might not be even in competition with you. But
Yeah.
because you are living based on their why, on what you perceive is their why, you are
Yeah.
just following. You're not, you're reacting to what life is throwing at you. You're not being proactive and taking a stop and thinking, okay, is this what I really want?
Yeah, because, sometimes I think that in society today, we get caught up with the Joneses, right? We get caught up with the, all the stuff that's supposed to complete us. But, Nancy, whoever she is,
I feel sorry for Nancy.
me too. Don't be a Nancy. Anyway, if you are a Nancy, it's okay. We're not talking to you, girl. But, I think that, you know, she might not even be happy, right? So it's not
Yeah.
about that. And it's not comparing yourself. And I think that, one of the things to be careful of is also envy, and just knowing that there's enough to go around. Would you say?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's there's a lot of factors that take place from acquiring so many things or what they do. And if you are of the mindset of just following what someone else is doing, then
Mm-hmm.
you really don't know what happens behind closed doors or what motivated that person to actually take that. So you are right in saying that if it's coming from a place of envy, that person might be actually unhappy, and you won't be
Yeah.
happy as well, because one, you're putting yourself more into debt,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
two, it's not really your vision. It might not even be your purpose. And that's
Yeah.
just because you're seeing someone else achieving that and you think, why not you?
Yeah, exactly. So how did you first learn about vision boards?
Ooh, wow.
Woohoo! Big
Oh,
question.
yes. I bumped into vision boards actually in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I knew about dreaming big because I always dreamt big as a child. But in
Yeah.
terms of vision boards themselves, I bumped into them in 2010, and that was really when my journey of self-discovery was starting. And I was in my second year of uni, and I knew that I wanted more out of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know how to go about it and how to get to that point. So I started going on YouTube. I think YouTube was starting to be a trend at that time. And I just started going on YouTube, and I came across this lady who was a coach at that time. I didn't even know what a coach was
Yeah.
in 2010. And she was talking about how she has a vision board, how she has manifested all the things that she has, and how you have to know, not necessarily know your why, but that you have to be confident in who you are. And she was going on about how she manifested the house that she lived in and everything else, and that really attracted me. I thought, oh, okay, let me see how that works. And at that time I was living with one of my cousins, and I built my vision board, and she was like, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, that's my vision board," and she
Yeah.
said, oh, "Okay, weirdo." I said, "You know what? It's fine. I knew what I wanted to achieve,
Yeah.
and for some reason, over the last 10 years, I looked at it last year, at the end of last year, and I said to myself, oh, I've actually achieved everything I wanted in the last 10 years. It really took me by surprise because
Wow.
I built it and then I forgot about it. But for
Yeah.
some reason, it stayed in the back of my mind.
Yes, because you were
So
clear. You
yeah.
set the intention and then you knew what you wanted. Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't look at it every day or anything. You kind of created it and then you, I guess, made the intention and then put it to the side, or did you have it in front of you and stuff?
No, I didn't have it every day because I then moved towns. And when I moved towns, I lost it somewhere along the lines. And at that time, when I made it, I was way into Facebook and I was literally posting my whole life on Facebook. So I thought that I had posted a picture of it, and I went back to try and look for a picture of it, and I couldn't find it. But what I realized was that since then, every year I would write down what I want to achieve. And those things were all the things that I wanted on my vision board. So I didn't have it physically until Pinterest obviously came into play. And then I started creating the board. I know, right?
I just did a raise the roof action there for Nonie because I love Pinterest.
And I started creating my vision board on Pinterest. And I realized that I didn't need the paper because it was all ingrained in my brain. I just needed to find the right pictures and put it somewhere where I can see it every day.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the way that I look at things is that if you're not setting an intention or a goal, or, you know, you don't have your eye on the prize, let's say, then how do you know what you want to achieve? You know, you're kind of wandering around aimlessly. And I've been in situations before where I thought, well, I need to figure out what I want, because if I don't know what I want, I'm not going to get anything. So I need to make a decision.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. If you don't know what you want, then you're going to follow other people in terms of what they want. And you're just going to be reacting to what life throws at you. Yeah. But if you know what you want, when life comes fast at you, you are able to stand still and say, okay, this is coming for me. Is this actually aligned to what I want to achieve, to my why? If it's not aligned to that, then okay, I'll react, but I won't overreact.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we get caught up and we go, okay, if you imagine you're at a crossroads, let's say a big opportunity comes your way and you go, well, although let's say the monetary gain is really good, it's actually taking me away from where I want to go. So it's actually better for me to say no to this situation. But if you don't know where you want to go, you might be saying yes to things that don't serve you in the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, you know, have you, let's actually talk about how you actually make a vision board, because there might be a listener at home who's thinking, you know, I kind of get the concept. So would you say that you get clear on your why, then you sit down and you think about the things that you want? Can you put experiences, or, you know, what kind of things can you also put on your vision board when you're creating it?
I think your vision board, really, you can dream big. Dream as big as you want to dream. There's really no dream that is limited on your vision board. If you want to go on that holiday in Bora Bora, put it right there. If you want, you know, a brand new house, put it right there. If you want to get married, put it right there. If you want to earn a certain amount of money, write a check to yourself with that total amount of money that you want to earn. Or, you know, put that dollar bill there. It's really dream as big as you want, as long as it's aligned to your why. Your why is the biggest thing. Before you start building your vision board, is to really understand your why. What drives you as a person? You know, how will you feel? I always talk about the why, the what, and the how. And for me, the why is, as we've been shouting about it in this evening, is, you know, your why is who you are. It is what bases you as a person. It is what, when you go to bed at the end of the night, you are content with yourself. You are happy with the things that you have done and achieved. And really, that is the basis of your vision board. Why do I want to achieve those things? We've been speaking about Nancy having those things, but that's really not a basis for you to really want those things. So it has to come from a place of selflessness. It has to come from a place of service, because whatever we do, whatever job we do, we are serving one person or another in one way or another. So it has to be coming from a place of selflessness, a place of service, and a place of gratitude. It has to definitely come from a place of gratitude. Once you figured out your why, you can then start building your what. What are the things that will make you fulfilled? What are the things that will bring you joy? I talk a lot about joy because joy, it comes from within.
Yeah.
Happiness it's momentarily, but joy is really what, when you sit down at the end of the day, you're like, wow, I am content. Whereas, so whatever you desire has to be linked to joy, has to be linked to your why. And if getting a new car, getting that house or getting that new job, or it might be even volunteering and, in a different country. If that is on your vision board, that is what you want to achieve, then put that on your vision board. Those are your whats. And when it then comes to your how, it's how are you going to feel when you have achieved those things? When you look at your vision board and it's all glory and form and it's right in front of you, what emotions does it evoke to you? Do you feel happy? Do you feel excited? Yeah, are you just raring to go and say, oh my God, I can't wait to be living in this life that I've built for myself. And I always tell my clients to write themselves a letter. So whilst building your vision board, is to write yourself a letter and, in the present tense, but to the future, and say, hi, Lauren, I'm so glad you're dreaming big, because it means that you are allowing yourself to want more. It means that you're allowing yourself to know that you deserve more as a person, as a woman. And I'm so excited for you, because when you finally, achieve that goal, when you finally have volunteered in that place, when you finally have your big house, when you have abundance and joy, you are going to feel A, B, and C, because you have done everything coming from a place of gratitude. And I always tell them to write this down and put it somewhere where it will act as a reminder when they're feeling down and they're looking at your vision board. It's not always every day that you look at your vision board and you're excited, because some of the goals in there can actually overwhelm you as life goes on. And by having that letter, it kind of reminds you of your why.
Yeah.
So that is how I would say you should build a vision board.
Yeah, I love that, because you're right. Sometimes, I look at my goals and I think, damn, girl, way to dream big, but whoa. But at the same time, I know it's all happening. And it might not happen right now, but I know it's happening in divine timing.
Exactly. That is the way to look at it, because we dream big as people, and our goals can actually scare us. But if we take time and look at that big goal, and you will see that all the little goals around that big goal will actually lead you to the big goal. So when you find that your goal is overwhelming you, stop and take a minute, look at all the other goals surrounding that big goal and say, okay, I'm going to pause this big goal for now, because I'm starting to feel anxious and overwhelmed. Let me concentrate on all these little goals, because if I concentrate on them, yes, they may be little, but ultimately they'll take me to the big goal that I want to go to.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. So how receptive are your clients to this kind of thing?
So far, this is my first year of coaching, and so far it's really received a really good reception from people, because not everyone knew what vision boards were or understood how vision boards worked. And I guess I've found a formula, I would say, or a strategy that is simple, but it resonates a lot. It takes a lot of emotional work. So it's been great so far. It's really been great.
Yeah. Do you have any success stories that you want to share? I know you said you're just kicking off your coaching business, but have, some of your clients set their why and achieve some of their whats?
Yeah. So at the beginning of this year, which is what propelled everything really, is I held a vision board workshop, and I only had about 7 people there. And of those 7 people, 4 of them have gone to start off their businesses, and one of them has actually now 2 businesses within the last 6 months. And and she said to me, well, it literally was because of your vision board workshop. I was so scared of, do I dream big? Do I want to achieve this? And after what you said, that it's okay for me to dream big, I went back and I really looked at my goals and I said, well, why not? If not today, then when? So I've been lucky enough to have quite a few success stories from women who have started their own businesses and are now earning multiple streams of income in addition to personal development as well.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, I think we kind of go, well, why me? And it's, well, why not you?
Yeah.
Why not you? And, I remember reading, I've read this in multiple ways in different books, but basically the concept is that you wouldn't conceive of these ideas if you weren't able to achieve them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even form in your brain. So I think that when you know that you dreaming big isn't anything you can't achieve. And also it's about the abundance mindset, right? There's enough to go around. And just because Nancy has the car doesn't mean you can't have it too, although you might want a different car to her.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just, it's having the abundance mindset and knowing that what you dream big for and what you desire is yours. It's yours. The world is big enough for you to be great. The world is big enough for you to shine. I look at the grocery stores. We have over here in the UK, we have Tesco and Asda. They're both great big shops. And if one of them had a bit of a fixed mindset and said, well, okay, Tesco has started, so why should I start? Then there wouldn't be this choice that we have right now. But because they both understood, I'm using groceries, I don't know why, but but it's
That's
just
all good.
It's the same as in business. There's so many. I had a wedding planning business. I closed it down at the beginning of this year, but there were so many wedding planners. When I started, I felt like, oh wow, there's so many wedding planners. Who would actually book me? Why would they want to work with me? But I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted it to be a place of service to to couples and everything. And I worked hard to get myself seen and to get myself a bit of a slice of the pie as well. And if you don't have that mindset that everything is there in the world for you to to have, then you won't be able to dream big for your vision board.
Yeah, and I think that, not everyone's going to resonate with everyone else. I mean, because, you're a coach, I'm doing consulting, and I have a membership. There are a lot of people that are doing similar stuff, but some people are going to listen and they're going to resonate with you and your style. And some people are going to listen and resonate with me and my style. And some people are not. And that's cool too. That's why there's so many different types of people in the world.
Yeah. If we're all the same, gosh, it would be a boring world.
Exactly. So just before, we wrap up, we have a few more minutes still left in the podcast. I do love to ask kind of random questions, at the end of the subject. But before that, is there anything, Nonie, that you wanted to mention that I didn't ask you about? We did talk about Pinterest. Is Pinterest a great way for people to get started on their vision board, or can they create a virtual vision board on Pinterest if they don't have the magazines and things to make a physical one?
Yeah, no, Pinterest is a great one, actually. If you've got any type of phone now, there are some apps that will help you build your vision board. But ultimately, as a source for images, Pinterest is the best place to be, because there's so many beautiful images of different things that you desire and that you want to acquire as well. And you can actually create a board on Pinterest, and you create it as your vision board, and all you need to do is just screenshot it and use it as your screensaver. I've got my vision board as my screensaver on my phone, And
Me
that is
too.
for me a daily reminder where I don't have to go into Pinterest. I can just,
Yeah.
create it every day. Look at it every day. The other source is Canva. If you can source your images from Pinterest, save them onto Canva, then you can create a nice vision board. I think there's some mood boards on Canva as well. So there's so many platforms that you can create your vision board digitally if you don't have a magazine.
Yeah, and I think like Noni was talking about, find things that make you feel happy, feel joyful when you're doing it. I mean, sometimes let's say I'm chilling on the couch on a Sunday and I have a bit of time. Sometimes I'll just dream big and I'll
Yeah.
go on Pinterest and I'll add things to my board and I'll just feel pumped about it.
No, definitely. I think allowing yourself to dream big, it just opens up your mind to just saying, it's okay. It is
Yeah.
absolutely okay for me to want more out of life, because sometimes we're often made to feel guilty about wanting more out of life.
Yeah.
And we then shy our wants and desires to a journal or to a closed room. But if you share it with your closest friends or yourself, really, on social media or on Pinterest, that's okay too, because everyone, like you've just said, Lauren, that someone will resonate with what you want,
Yeah.
and they'll just like it.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think that sometimes there's guilt about, oh, well, why should I have all these things? Well, guess what? If you are successful, you're going to have a better quality life. That means that everyone that you interact with is going to get your positivity. When you have more money, you can donate more, you can help more in that way, right?
Yeah.
There are charities that everyone's a lot of people are aligned with. Well, if you have disposable income, you can share to those charities, which will then help them, which will then inspire and elevate other people. So it doesn't need to be a selfish thing like you were talking about.
It really becomes a snowball effect of helping people, and it all started with you just dreaming big.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much. That's so fabulous. I know you've given our listeners a lot of things to think about, and me as well. And yeah, that was great. For your first podcast, you just nailed it out of the park. So I don't believe that was your first one at all.
Thank you.
So I will leave a contact to you in the show notes as well if people are interested in working with you. But before we wrap up, are there any, maybe can you name some favorite books of yours that have made an impact in your life? Maybe will help people get started.
Oh yeah, definitely. So who doesn't love Denise Duffield Thomas?
I haven't read her work, actually.
You haven't?
No, but I've heard many people talk about her, and okay, I'm writing it down, girl.
She is really good at money mindset and just letting go of anything that's holding you back. She really talks great about having an abundance mindset.
Okay, yeah.
The second one I would say is Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. That really helped you stop procrastinating about building a vision board.
Yeah, I actually haven't read her work, but I did see a YouTube video of her talking about the 5-second rule. And I feel like it changed my life, because anytime I have a thought pattern in my mind that's not supportive, I just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't have to believe everything I think.
Yeah. It's funny because I just came off a group coaching call right now, and I was just telling them about the 5-second rule as well. So Oprah's book is called The Path Made Clear.
I have that. And also her book, What I Know, I'm just looking on my bookshelf. That's why I paused there. What I Know for Sure.
That is a really good book too. That is a really, I read it as well. And that is a really, really good book.
Oh, that one I read in sections, because I would read her thoughts and then I would, read another book after or, in between, because it was so enriching, every single thing, that you kind of wanted it time to just
digest it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, digest it. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Those are great books. Thank you for that. If you could go for dinner with anyone, Nonie, living or dead, who would it be?
Oh, if I was to go for dinner with anybody, I would say Mel Robbins probably. I like her
Okay.
style. I like her. She swears a lot, but I do like her style.
I like swearing. It's fun. When I moved to Australia, I started swearing way more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, it just happened. I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting because sometimes it just has that punch that you need
definitely.
to,
Sometimes you just need to just get up.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you chill out? How do you spend your time relaxing? I know you've got a baby.
I've got 2 little ones actually. So she's got a 3-year-old and a soon-to-be 1-year-old next week Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And which means my relaxing days are well over. But when I do get the odd time to relax, honestly, I just find a book to read, or I listen to a podcast or YouTube, or just watch something on Prime.
Yeah.
Something that will make me cry, funny enough.
Yeah. Oh, but it's good. You're feeling your heart. And, it sounds like you're doing things that, lift you up or nurture you.
Yeah. I mean, besides the Real Housewives, then yes.
This is a judgment-free zone, remember? So it's all about balance.
True. Very true.
Yeah. Queer Eye for the Straight Guy is one of my favorite shows ever.
Really?
Have you ever watched
I haven't
that show?
seen that one yet.
Oh man, they do makeovers. They make over the person, they make over their house, they talk about culture, and they do food. It's incredible. I know you're going to message me in the future and go,
I will. Okay,
girl, got it.
That is on my to-do list. I have loads of TV shows. I think there's one on Netflix, Working Moms. I love Working Moms.
Okay. I'm not a mom, so I first started that episode and I went, I don't relate, and I turned it off.
Oh, okay. But it's really funny. It's really, it's very lighthearted. It's very lighthearted.
Yeah, because laughter is so important, isn't it? And I think that we make, the mind can make life so much more serious than it needs to be.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I love how, you can be in the UK and I can be over here in Australia and we can still catch up. It's so cool. It's a life changer.
It really is.
Technology. So thank you so much, Nonie, for all your wisdom and for all your advice and your suggestions. I know that you continue to do the work that you do and you're going to continue to change lives. And like you said, that will snowball and have an even bigger effect.
No, thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed myself. Absolutely. And thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please do leave us a review where you listen to your podcast and share it with your friends. New episodes every Monday.